The invasion begins. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as thousands of Zardonian warships dropped out of hyperspace, their sleek, biomechanical forms casting long shadows across Earth's moon. At the center of this armada, the flagship Eternal Dominion loomed ominously, its massive hull adorned with the scars of 100 conquered worlds. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Supreme Commander Xalax gazed at the blue-green orb of Earth with his 4 compound eyes, mandibles clicking in anticipation. His exoskeleton gleamed under the soft bioluminescent lights of the ship, a testament to his status as the most decorated warrior in the Zardonian Empire. Pitiful, Xalax chittered, addressing his second-in-command. These humans have barely left their own planet. This will be our easiest conquest yet. Lieutenant Commander Vex, her own carapace a duller shade of green, nodded in agreement. Our scans show primitive projectile weapons and laughably weak energy shields. They stand no chance against our plasma cannons and quantum disruptors. Xalax's mandibles formed what passed for a smile in his species. Excellent. Prepare the first wave. I want their major cities under our control within the solar day. As the Zardonian fleet began to move into attack formation, alarms suddenly blared across every ship. Xalax whirled around, compound eyes widening in shock as he witnessed a sight he never thought possible. A small fleet of human ships, no more than 100 in number, had appeared seemingly out of nowhere. They were crude by Zardonian standards, all straight lines and sharp angles, a far cry from the organic curves of Zardonian biotech. Yet they moved with a speed and precision that defied their appearance. Impossible, Vex whispered, her antennae twitching in disbelief. Our long-range scans didn't detect any of these vessels. Where did they come from? Before Xalax could respond, the human ships opened fire, but instead of the primitive projectiles or weak energy beams they'd expected, lances of blindingly bright energy shot forth from the Earth vessels. The beams sliced through Zardonian shields as if they weren't there, carving gaping holes in the biomechanical hulls. Evasive maneuvers. Xalax roared, his calm demeanor shattered. Return fire with everything we have. The space around Earth erupted into chaos. Zardonian ships, despite their superior numbers, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The human vessels seemed to dance between the stars, dodging plasma bolts and quantum torpedoes with impossible agility. As Xalax watched in horror, a human ship no larger than a Zardonian scout vessel took on 3 of his heavy cruisers. It darted between them, its energy weapons blazing. In a matter of moments, all 3 cruisers were reduced to drifting, lifeless hulks. This can't be happening, Vex said, her voice trembling. Supreme Commander, we've lost a third of the fleet already. We must retreat. Xalax's mandibles clacked furiously. Retreat? Before these primitives? Never. Launch our fighter squadrons. Overwhelm them with sheer numbers. Thousands of Zardonian fighters poured out from the larger ships, swarming towards the human fleet like angry insects. For a moment, it seemed the tide might turn. But then the humans revealed another surprise. Hundreds of small, sleek craft emerged from the larger Earth ships. Unlike anything the Zardonians had ever seen, these fighters moved like living things, twisting and turning in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics. They tore through the Zardonian squadrons with terrifying efficiency. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Xalax watched in stunned silence as his mighty armada was systematically dismantled. Ships that had brought entire star systems to their knees were being destroyed by a species that, by all accounts, should have been defenseless. A crackling sound filled the bridge as a communication channel opened. A human face appeared on the main view screen, wearing what looked like a primitive breathing apparatus. Despite the odd appearance, the being's eyes shone with intelligence and determination. "This is Fleet Admiral Helena Chen of the Earth Defense Force," the human said, her voice calm but firm. "Your unprovoked attack on our world has been met with the full force of our military. Cease your aggression immediately, or face complete annihilation." Xalax's mind reeled. How could these primitives have technology that surpassed the Zardonian empires? An empire that had stood for 10,000 years, conquering all in its path. Who are you? Selax found himself asking, mandibles quivering. How is this possible? Admiral Chen's expression remained impassive. We are humanity. We've watched the stars for centuries, preparing for this day. We knew we weren't alone, and we knew not all aliens would come in peace, so we made ourselves ready. As if to emphasize her point, another wave of energy beams lanced out from the human fleet, destroying a dozen more Zardonian capital ships. This is your final warning, Chen continued. Retreat now, or be destroyed. The choice is yours. Selax looked around his bridge. The mighty Eternal Dominion, flagship of the invincible Zardonian Armada, was now scared and battered. Warning lights flashed everywhere, and the moans of injured crew members filled the air. With a heavy heart and a bruised ego, Selax made the first retreat order of his long, storied career. All ships, fall back. Initiate emergency hyperspace jump. As the remnants of the once mighty Zardonian fleet fled into the depths of space, Selax couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just a military defeat. Humanity's unexpected strength had shaken the very foundations of his belief in Zardonian superiority. And somewhere in the back of his mind, a terrifying thought began to form. If the humans could do this to the Zardonian Empire, what else were they capable of? As the Eternal Dominion limped away from Earth, Selax realized that the galaxy as he knew it had changed forever. The era of unchallenged Zardonian dominance was over. The age of humanity had begun. The human advantage. The debris of Zardonian ships drifted silently in Earth's orbit, a testament to humanity's unexpected victory. Aboard the EDF flagship, Resilience, Fleet Admiral Helena Chen removed her neural interface helmet, her salt and pepper hair damp with sweat. The bridge crew erupted into cheers, the tension of battle giving way to elation. Admiral, her XO, Commander Rajpatel, approached with a tablet. Preliminary reports show minimal casualties on our side. The Zardonian retreat is confirmed. Chen nodded, allowing herself a small smile. Excellent work, everyone. But this isn't over. They'll be back, and in greater numbers. As if on cue, a holographic representation of UN Secretary-General Dr. Amelia Okoro appeared on the bridge. Admiral Chen, congratulations on your victory. The world owes you and your crew a debt of gratitude. Thank you, Madam Secretary, Chen replied. But we both know this is just the beginning. Okoro's expression turned grave. Indeed, which is why the Security Council has agreed it's time to unveil the full extent of the Helios project. The world needs to know what we're truly capable of. Chen raised an eyebrow. Are you sure that's wise? The panic will be nothing compared to what we'll face if we're not united. Okoro interrupted. Prepare your crew, Admiral. In 1 hour, we make history. As the hologram faded, Chen turned to her crew. You heard the Secretary-General. Patel, prepare for a global broadcast. It's time the world learned the truth about our primitive technology. 1 hour later, every screen on Earth flickered to life. From smartphones in New York to billboards in Tokyo, all displayed the same image. Admiral Chen standing before the sleek form of the Resilience. Citizens of Earth, Chen began, her voice steady. Today, we repelled an alien invasion force that thought us weak and unprepared. They were wrong. For decades, the brightest minds of our planet have been working in secret, pushing the boundaries of science and technology. Today, I reveal to you the fruits of their labor. Project Helios. The camera panned out, revealing the true nature of the Resilience. What had appeared to be a conventional spacecraft was actually surrounded by a shimmering field of energy, distorting its true form. What you're seeing is a quantum field manipulator, Chen explained. It allows our ships to alter the very fabric of space-time around them. This is how we achieved apparent faster-than-light travel, how we remained invisible to Zardonian sensors, and how we generated weapons capable of penetrating their shields. Gasps and murmurs rippled through crowds worldwide as the implications sank in. But the quantum manipulator is just the beginning, Chen continued. Our neural interface systems allow our pilots to control their ships as extensions of their own bodies. Our AI advisors process battlefield data in nanoseconds, giving us unparalleled tactical advantages. The broadcast cut to footage of the recent battle, showing Earth ships dancing through space with impossible grace, their energy weapons slicing through Zardonian defenses. You may ask why this was kept secret, Chen said, her tone somber. The answer is simple. We knew we weren't alone in the universe, and we knew not all our galactic neighbors would be friendly. We needed every advantage we could get. Back on the Resilience, Shen watched as the faces of her crew filled with pride. They had carried this secret for so long, and now the world knew of their sacrifices. Meanwhile, in underground bunkers and hidden laboratories across the globe, scientists and engineers emerged into the light. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the lead physicist of Project Helios, watched the broadcast from her lab beneath Mount Fuji. "It's really happening," she whispered to her colleague, Dr. Mohammed Al-Fayed. "After all these years, the world finally knows." Al-Fayed nodded, his eyes never leaving the screen. "And now the real work begins. The Zardonians will return, and they'll be prepared for our quantum tech." Tanaka's eyes gleamed with determination. "Then we'll just have to push even further. I've been working on a theory about manipulating dark energy." As the broadcast continued, Chen delved deeper into the specifics of Earth's technological leap. She explained how the discovery of a stable quantum field had led to breakthroughs in energy production, allowing for the creation of compact yet incredibly powerful reactors. These reactors, Chen elaborated, not only power our ships and weapons, but also form the basis of our shield technology. By projecting a controlled quantum field around our vessels, we can deflect or absorb incoming energy attacks and even render ourselves invisible to conventional sensors. The camera panned to show a demonstration of a small drone seemingly phasing in and out of existence, its quantum shield bending light around it. "But perhaps our greatest advantage," Chen continued, "lies not in our technology, but in our diversity and adaptability as a species. The Helios project drew upon the knowledge and creativity of scientists from every corner of the globe. It was our differences, our varied perspectives and experiences, that allowed us to think outside the box and achieve what the Zardonians thought impossible." As if to illustrate this point, the broadcast showed a montage of the international team behind Project Helios, a Nigerian computer scientist fine-tuning AI algorithms, a Brazilian engineer constructing quantum reactor cores, an Australian xenobiologist studying alien physiology to identify potential weaknesses. "This is the true strength of humanity," Chen declared, her voice swelling with pride. "Our ability to come together in the face of adversity, to pool our knowledge and resources, and to innovate beyond the boundaries of what's thought possible." The Admiral's expression then turned serious. "But make no mistake, we have won a battle, not the war. The Zardonians will return, and they will not underestimate us again. We must be prepared for a long and difficult conflict." She paused, letting her words sink in. "That is why, effective immediately, the United Nations is initiating a global defense program. We will be expanding our fleet, training more pilots and crew, and accelerating our research into quantum technologies. Every nation, every citizen, has a role to play in Earth's defense." As Chen's words echoed across the planet, reactions varied. In some places, there was fear and anger at the long-held secrecy. In others, a surge of patriotism and unity in the face of an alien threat. But everywhere, there was a sense of awe at the technological marvels humanity had achieved. In Geneva, Secretary General Okoro watched the public response with a mixture of relief and apprehension. "And so it begins," she murmured to her advisors. "The greatest challenge our species has ever faced." One of her aides spoke up, Ma'am, we're receiving reports of volunteers flooding military recruitment centers worldwide. It seems Admiral Chen's speech has struck a chord. Okoro nodded, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Good. We'll need every hand, every mind, if we're to survive what's coming. As the broadcast concluded, Chen turned to her crew. You've all served Earth with distinction, carrying the weight of this secret. But our real test is yet to come. The Zardonians will be back, and they won't be alone. We must be ready. Commander Petal stepped forward. What are your orders, Admiral? Chen's eyes blazed with determination. We prepare. We innovate. We push our technology even further. And when the Zardonians return, we show them that humanity is a force to be reckoned with. As the Resilience moved into formation with the rest of the Earth Defense Fleet, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and trepidation. Humanity had revealed its hand, showcasing technology that had shaken the galactic status quo. But in doing so, they had painted a target on their backs. The age of humanity's innocence was over. The age of galactic conflict had begun. And at the heart of it all was the quantum technology that had given Earth its fighting chance, a human advantage that would shape the course of interstellar history. Alien infiltration. The Zardonian capital world of Tarzad was in chaos. News of the disastrous Earth campaign had spread like wildfire, shaking the very foundations of their empire. In the Grand Hive Palace, Supreme Leader Cathax, resplendent in his ornate exoskeleton, glared at the assembled war council with all four of his compound eyes. Explain to me. Cathax chittered, his voice dripping with barely contained rage, how our invincible Armada was decimated by a species that hasn't even colonized its own solar system. Supreme Commander Xalax, still bearing the scars of the Earth battle, stepped forward. Great leader, the humans, they possess technology far beyond what our intelligence suggested. Their ships moved in ways that defied our understanding of physics. Their weapons cut through our best shields like they weren't even there. Cathax's mandibles clacked in irritation. Impossible. No primitive race could develop such technology in secret. And yet they did. A new voice interjected. All eyes turned to Science Minister Zix, her iridescent wings shimmering as she approached the center of the chamber. Our analysis of the battle footage confirms it. The humans have somehow harnessed the power of quantum manipulation on a scale we thought impossible. A murmur rippled through the assembled Zardonian leaders. Cathax leaned forward, suddenly interested. Quantum manipulation? On a macro scale? How? Zix's antennae twitched in excitement despite the grave situation. We're not sure, great leader. But if we could obtain this technology, it would revolutionize not just our military, but our entire civilization. Cathax's compound eyes narrowed in thought. After a moment of tense silence, he spoke. Very well. Xalax, you failed in conquest, but perhaps you can redeem yourself. I'm assigning you a new mission. Take our best infiltrators and spies. Go to Earth. Learn their secrets. Xalax bowed low, his mandibles clicking in gratitude for this chance at redemption. It will be done, great leader. We shall not fail you again. Weeks later, on the outskirts of San Francisco, a group of human tourists disembarked from a bus. To any casual observer, they appeared to be a typical group of sightseers. But beneath their holographic disguises lurked Xalax and his team of Zardonian infiltrators. Remember, Xalax subvocalized through their secure comm channel, our primary objective is to gather intelligence on their quantum technology. Avoid confrontation at all costs. If our cover is blown, the mission is compromised. The team dispersed, each heading to their assigned targets. Xalax, disguised as a middle-aged human male, made his way towards the Silicon Valley Quantum Research Center. Meanwhile, at the Earth Defense Force headquarters beneath the Rocky Mountains, AI security systems flagged an anomaly. Lieutenant Sarah Wong, head of counterintelligence, frowned at her holographic display. Admiral Chen, she called out, we've detected unusual patterns in global communications and movement. It matches the theoretical profile of a covered alien infiltration. Admiral Chen strode over, her face grim. Do we have a location on these potential infiltrators? Wong nodded, pulling up a global map dotted with red markers. Multiple sites, but there's significant activity around our tech hubs. Silicon Valley, Tokyo, Berlin. Chen's eyes narrowed. They're after our quantum tech. Clever. Alert all facilities, but don't tip our hand yet. Let's see what they're up to. Back in San Francisco, Xalax, under the alias Dr. Mark Stevens, had managed to gain access to the research center as a visiting scholar. He marveled at the humans' trusting nature, even as he exploited it. As he toured the facility, his specialized sensors, disguised as ordinary glasses, scanned everything in sight. The quantum reactors powering the center hummed with an energy that made his exoskeleton tingle beneath his holographic skin. Fascinating, he muttered, seemingly to himself, but actually recording notes for his team. Their understanding of quantum fields is intuitive, almost as if they're working with it on a fundamental level we've never considered. In another part of the city, Vex, now appearing as a young human woman, had infiltrated a quantum computing startup. She watched in awe as engineers casually manipulated quantum states that Zardonian scientists had only theorized about. How? She whispered, her antenna twitching invisibly beneath her holographic hair. How did they leap so far ahead without anyone noticing? As the Zardonian spies gathered intel across the globe, they began to piece together a picture that both excited and terrified them. Humanity's quantum technology wasn't just advanced, it was revolutionary. It approached the manipulation of reality in ways the Zardonians had never imagined. But there was something else, something that puzzled Xalax and his team even more than the tech itself. The humans' approach to science and innovation seemed chaotic, decentralized. Different teams worked on wildly different approaches to the same problems. They argued, competed, collaborated in a dizzying dance of ideas. It's inefficient, Vex commented during a secure team meeting in a San Francisco park. Their efforts are so scattered. How can they make progress like this? Watching a group of human children play with a quantum-stabilized bubble toy, shook his head. I'm not sure it is inefficient. Somehow, this diversity of thought seems to be driving their innovation. As the infiltration continued, the Zardonians found themselves faced with an uncomfortable realization. It wasn't just human technology that was alien to them. It was the very way humans thought and organized themselves. Back at EDF headquarters, Admiral Chen and her team watched the alien infiltrators with a mixture of amusement and concern. They're good, Chen admitted, watching a holographic replay of Xalax's tour through the research center. But they're asking all the wrong questions. Dr. Tanaka, who had been called in to consult, nodded in agreement. They're so focused on the tech itself, they're missing the real secret. Which is? Lieutenant Wong asked, intrigued. Tanaka smiled, her eyes twinkling. That there is no single secret. Our breakthrough came from thousands of small innovations, from teams working independently and together, from failures as much as successes. It's not just about the quantum manipulation, it's about how we approach problem-solving itself. Chen leaned back, a thoughtful expression on her face. So even if they steal our tech, they won't be able to replicate our results, Tanaka finished. Not unless they fundamentally change their entire society. As the weeks stretched into months, Xalax and his team gathered terabytes of data. They stole glimpses of quantum reactor schematics, recorded lectures on advanced theoretical physics, even managed to obtain samples of quantum-stabilized materials. But the more they learned, the more they realized how much they didn't understand. During their final secure meeting before exfiltration, Xalax looked at his team, seeing his own confusion and awe reflected in their holographically disguised faces. We came here thinking we were intellectually superior, he said softly. That once we understood their technology, we could easily surpass it. But now, Vex finished his thought. Now we realize we don't even know the right questions to ask. As they prepared to leave Earth, each carrying data that would both revolutionize and destabilize Zardonian society, Talax felt a strange emotion he couldn't quite name. It was a mixture of fear, respect, and something else. A growing suspicion that the Zardonian Empire's days of easy conquest were over. Unbeknownst to the Zardonian spies, their every move had been monitored, their stolen data subtly altered. As their cloaked ship lifted off from a remote desert location, Admiral Chen watched from EDF headquarters. "Should we shoot them down?" Wang asked, her hand hovering over the defense grid controls. Chen shook her head. "No, let them go. Let them take back what they've learned. It'll keep them chasing shadows while we prepare for what's coming." As the Zardonian ship disappeared into the depths of space, Chen turned to her team. "They'll be back, and not alone next time. We've shown them a glimpse of what we can do. Now let's show them what humanity is truly capable of when we put our minds to it." The Admiral's words hung in the air, a promise and a challenge. The Zardonians had come seeking humanity's secrets, but they had left with something far more valuable and dangerous, questions that would shake the very foundations of their empire. The tables turn. The vast chamber of the United Earth Council buzzed with tension. Representatives from every nation on the planet sat in concentric rings, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays. At the center, Admiral Helena Chen stood before a massive three-dimensional star map, her uniform crisp and her expression resolute. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chen began, her voice carrying across the chamber. "For months, we've been preparing for the Zardonian counterattack. Our quantum shields are stronger, our weapons more precise. But defense alone won't win this war." She waved her hand, and the star map zoomed in on a distant solar system. "Thanks to the data we allowed the Zardonian spies to steal, we've pinpointed the location of their homeworld, Sarzad. It's time we take the fight to them." A murmur rippled through the assembly. Secretary General Okoro leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "Admiral, are you proposing a preemptive strike?" Chen shook her head. "Not a strike, Madam Secretary. An expedition. Operation Lighthouse." With another gesture, a hologram of a massive ship materialized above the star map. Unlike the sleek, predatory designs of Earth's defense fleet, this vessel was a behemoth, a city in space. "The EDF Prometheus," Chen announced. "Our first long-range exploration and diplomatic vessel, equipped with our most advanced quantum drives, scientific labs, and a contingent of our best soldiers, just in case." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, now Earth's chief science officer, stepped forward. "The Prometheus isn't just a ship, it's a statement. We're going to the heart of the Zardonian Empire, not as conquerors, but as explorers and diplomats. We'll show them that humanity is more than just a military threat." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some representatives argued for a more aggressive approach. Others worried about the risks of sending such a valuable asset into enemy territory. But as the discussion raged, a sense of excitement and purpose filled the air. Weeks later, in high orbit above Earth, the Prometheus hummed with activity. Captain Zoran Mosu, a veteran of the first Zardonian attack, walked through the ship's vast corridors, marveling at the blend of military precision and scientific curiosity that surrounded her. In the ship's quantum core, Dr. Mohammed Al-Fayed made final adjustments to the experimental drive. "Captain," he called out as Nwosu entered, "we're ready for the final test." Nwosu nodded, tapping her neural interface to open a ship-wide channel. "All hands, prepare for quantum jump test. This is not a drill." Throughout the ship, crew members secured equipment and braced themselves. In the command center, Nwosu took her place in the captain's chair, neural interfaces linking her directly to the ship's systems. "Engage quantum drive," she ordered. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, reality itself seemed to bend. Stars streaked past viewports, space-time folding around the massive ship. In the blink of an eye, The familiar backdrop of Earth vanished, replaced by an alien star system. Al-Fayed's voice crackled over the comm, filled with barely contained excitement. "Captain, it worked. We've traveled over 500 light-years in less than a second." Nwosu allowed herself a small smile. "Excellent work, Doctor. Plot a course for the Zardonian homeworld. It's time to make our presence known." As the Prometheus began its journey into the heart of Zardonian space, the ship's diverse crew prepared for their mission. In the diplomatic wing, Ambassador Lianzhong rehearsed potential first contact scenarios with AI simulations. In the science labs, xenobiologists and physicists pored over the data stolen by the Zardonian spies, looking for insights into alien biology and technology. Meanwhile, in the ship's vast hydroponics bay, agricultural specialist Amara Okafor tended to plants from every corner of Earth. "We're not just bringing weapons and shields," she mused to a passing crewmate. "We're bringing life itself." As the Prometheus ventured deeper into uncharted space, it encountered wonders and terrors beyond human imagination. Vast nebulae painted the void in colors no human eye had ever seen. Gravitational anomalies twisted space itself into impossible shapes. Through it all, the ship's quantum shields held firm, its sensors drinking in data that would keep Earth's scientists busy for decades. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Twice, the Prometheus encountered Zardonian patrols. The first time, Captain Nwosu managed to evade detection using the ship's advanced cloaking technology. The second time, they weren't so lucky. Zardonian warships, closing fast. Lieutenant Commander Raj Patel shouted from his tactical station. "They're charging weapons." Nwosu's mind raced through options, her neural link presenting tactical simulations at the speed of thought. Evasive maneuvers. Charge the quantum disruptors, but hold fire unless absolutely necessary. The space around the Prometheus erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and quantum distortions. The Zardonian ships, more numerous but less advanced, swarmed around the Earth vessel like angry insects. In the heat of battle, humanity's greatest strengths shone through. The Prometheus's crew, diverse in background but united in purpose, worked in perfect harmony. Tactical officers predicted enemy movements with uncanny accuracy. Engineers rerouted power on the fly, keeping shields up and weapons hot. Even the scientists pitched in, using their understanding of Zardonian psychology to anticipate the enemy's strategies. When the quantum dust settled, the Prometheus emerged victorious. The Zardonian patrol reduced to drifting debris, but Captain Nwosu took no joy in the victory. "Damage report," she called out, her voice somber. Patel responded, his tone a mixture of relief and concern. "Minor hull breaches on decks 7 through 9 already sealed. No casualties. But Captain, our position has been compromised. The Zardonians know we're here." Nwosu nodded grimly. "Then we proceed as planned, but accelerated. Set course for Xarzad. Maximum speed." As the Prometheus surged towards the Zardonian homeworld, news of the intruding Earth ship spread like wildfire through the Empire. On Xarzad, Supreme Leader Kthax convened an emergency session of the Imperial Council. "How did they find us?" Kthax raged, his exoskeleton flushed with anger pheromones. "How did they cross half the galaxy without our long-range sensors detecting them?" Before anyone could answer, the chamber's holographic display flickered to life. The image of the Prometheus, majestic and alien, appeared before the stunned Zardonian leaders. "Greetings, people of Xarzad." Ambassador Zhang's voice rang out, translated perfectly into the chittering language of the Zardonians. "We come from Earth, not in war, but in peace. We request an audience with your leaders." As the message played out, detailing humanity's desire for dialogue and mutual understanding, the Zardonian leaders looked at each other in confusion and fear. This was not the primitive, vengeful species they had expected. Supreme Commander Xalax, his mandibles clicking nervously, turned to Kthax. "Great leader, what are your orders?" Kthax stared at the image of the Prometheus, his compound eyes reflecting the ship that had crossed the stars to deliver a message of peace to those who had tried to conquer them. In that moment, he realized that everything he thought he knew about the galaxy, about his empire's place in it, had changed. We will hear them," Kfax said finally, his voice uncharacteristically subdued. "Prepare for their arrival, and may the Hive Mothers have mercy on us all." As the Prometheus entered orbit around Sarzad, Captain Mosu stood on the bridge, gazing down at the alien world below. "We've come so far," she murmured. Ambassador Zhang nodded, standing beside her. "And now the real work begins." The ship's quantum communicator hummed to life, carrying a message from Earth. Admiral Chen's voice filled the bridge, tinged with pride and hope. "Prometheus, you've done it. You've opened the door. Whatever happens next, know that you've changed the course of human history. Good luck. And Godspeed." As the first shuttles prepared to descend to the Zardonian capital, the crew of the Prometheus steeled themselves for the challenges ahead. They had crossed the stars, faced down alien warships, and now stood ready to forge a new future for humanity and Zardonians alike. The tables had turned. Humanity, once the target of conquest, had become the bearer of peace, and in doing so, they had proven that their greatest strength lay not in their advanced technology, but in their indomitable spirit and their capacity for hope in the face of the unknown. A new galactic order. 5 years had passed since the Prometheus first entered orbit around Sarzad. The galaxy, once a realm of conquest and subjugation under Zardonian rule, had undergone a transformation that few could have predicted. On Earth, the sprawling campus of the newly established Galactic Cooperation Institute buzzed with activity. Humans walked alongside Zardonians and a dozen other alien species, their differences in biology overshadowed by their shared thirst for knowledge and understanding. Admiral Helena Chen, now silver-haired but still sharp as ever, stood at a podium before a diverse audience of terrestrial and extraterrestrial dignitaries. Behind her, a holographic display showed the Milky Way, dotted with points of light representing member worlds of the fledgling Galactic Concordat. 5 years ago, Chen began, her voice carrying the weight of history. "We faced extinction at the hands of an alien empire. Today, we stand as partners in the greatest peaceful endeavor our galaxy has ever known." In the front row, Supreme Leader Kfax of the Zardonians clicked his mandibles in agreement. The once fearsome conqueror had become one of the staunchest advocates for galactic cooperation, his compound eyes gleaming with an emotion that, until recently, had been foreign to his species. Hope. Chen continued. "The Prometheus expedition taught us all a valuable lesson. It showed us that our greatest strength lies not in our weapons or our technology, but in our diversity, our adaptability, and our capacity for understanding." As Chen spoke, scenes from the past 5 years played out on the holographic display. The tense first meetings between human diplomats and the Zardonian Imperial Council, where words proved mightier than quantum weapons. Zardonian scientists, their exoskeletons quivering with excitement, working alongside human researchers to unlock the full potential of quantum manipulation technology. The first joint human-Zardonian expedition to a primitive world, where they made first contact not as conquerors, but as mentors and protectors. The dramatic rescue of a Zardonian colony ship by Earth vessels, cementing the budding trust between former enemies. "But our journey is far from over," Chen cautioned. "As we expand our understanding of the galaxy, we face new challenges and responsibilities." In orbit high above Earth, the Prometheus, now the flagship of the Concordat's peacekeeping fleet, prepared for its next mission. Captain Zaren Mosu, her uniform now bearing the insignia of both Earth and the Galactic Concordat, addressed her crew, a mix of humans, Zardonians, and representatives from a dozen other species. "We've received reports of a pre-FTL civilization on the edge of Concordat space," Nmosu explained, bringing up a holographic image of a blue-green world not unlike Earth. "They're on the brink of discovering quantum manipulation. Our job is to guide them, to ensure they don't make the same mistakes we did. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, her hair streaked with gray, but her eyes still bright with curiosity, chimed in. This mission embodies everything we've worked for. We're not just exploring space anymore. We're shepherding the future of our galaxy. As the Prometheus prepared to jump to quantum space, Nwosu couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. The ship that had once been humanity's best hope for survival was now a symbol of unity and progress for dozens of species. Back on Earth, in the depths of the Rocky Mountain complex, a new generation of leaders trained for the challenges ahead. Lieutenant Sarah Wong, now director of the Concordat's diplomatic corps, addressed a class of cadets, human, Zardonian, and others. The key to our success, Wong emphasized, has been our ability to turn potential enemies into allies. We didn't just show the Zardonians our technology. We showed them a new way of thinking, a new way of existing in the galaxy. One of the Zardonian cadets raised a limb. But instructor, how do we maintain our identity while embracing such radical change? Wong smiled. An excellent question. The goal isn't to erase our differences, but to celebrate them. Each of our species brings unique perspectives and abilities to the table. Together, we're stronger than we ever could be apart. As Wong's lecture continued, news tickers around the world reported on the latest developments. Concordat scientists announced breakthrough in quantum entanglement communication, promising real-time galactic internet. Joint Human-Zardonian Terraforming Project transforms dead world into garden paradise. Newly discovered alien artifacts hint at ancient galactic civilization. Concordat launches investigation. In her office at Galactic Concordat headquarters, Secretary General Amelia Okoro reviewed reports from across known space. The challenges were immense: border disputes between newly spacefaring races, the ethical implications of uplifting pre-FTL civilizations, the ongoing threat of rogue Zardonian factions clinging to their old ways. But for every problem, Okoro saw opportunity. Humanity's greatest export hadn't been its quantum technology, but its ideas: democracy, cultural exchange, the scientific method. These concepts, alien to many galactic civilizations, were taking root and flourishing in unexpected ways. A knock at her door interrupted Okoro's musings. A young aide entered, looking excited. "Madam Secretary, we've just received a transmission from the Andromeda Galaxy. It seems our quantum comm experiments were more successful than we thought." Okoro's eyes widened. The implications were staggering. Not just a new civilization to contact, but an entire galaxy of possibilities. "Alert the Concordat Council," she ordered. "And get me Admiral Chen and Captain Mosu. It looks like the Prometheus has a new mission." As news of the Andromeda contact spread, a palpable sense of excitement gripped Earth and its allies. Humans and aliens alike looked to the skies with renewed wonder and purpose. The galaxy that had once seemed so vast and threatening now felt like a field of endless opportunity. In universities and research labs, in diplomatic chambers and starship bridges, the spirit of cooperation that had turned enemies into allies continued to push the boundaries of what was possible. The quantum technology that had saved Earth from conquest had become the foundation for a new era of galactic enlightenment. Admiral Chen, watching the sun set over the Pacific from her office window, allowed herself a moment of reflection. The journey from near extinction to galactic leadership had been fraught with peril, filled with hard choices and sacrifices. But as she looked at the stars beginning to twinkle in the darkening sky, she felt a profound sense of pride and hope. Humanity had not just survived, it had thrived. And in doing so, it had changed the very fabric of galactic society. The future, with all its challenges and opportunities, beckoned. As night fell on Earth, ships of the Concordat fleet prepared to make the quantum jump to Andromeda. Among them, the Prometheus led the way, carrying the hopes and dreams of a united galaxy. Whatever they would find in that distant realm, they would face it together: humans, Zardonians, and all the diverse species of the Milky Way, bound by their shared quest for knowledge and understanding. The age of isolation was over. The age of galactic cooperation had begun, and at its heart was the indomitable spirit of humanity, reaching ever outward, ever onward, to the stars and beyond.